Good evening, everyone. Is that better? That's the correct intro. Good evening, everyone. Hello. How are we all tonight? I'm off center for some. How are we all tonight? Welcome. Welcome to the Countess Lita stream. Let's get that chat up on the screen. Welcome to the Countess Lita stream. Tonight, special occasion. I'm baking. Doing a baking stream. I came up with the idea. I'm dumb enough to do it. Let's bake the cake from the video game Mouthwashing. What do you get when you cross a pig and Christmas tree lights? You did exercise and health, and now I watch cake stream. Good news for those of you out there who are watching your waistline. Watching me bake a terrible cake consumes no calories. Man, that does not consume any calories. If you're watching me, all you're watching is the cake. Now, last time I tried baking on this stream, I made a terrible pie. I think this cake will be more successful than that pie. But only because what I'm trying to do, I don't think is very difficult. But, could be wrong. We'll see. Okay? We'll see. So just as a... oh, and here's how the stream's gonna go, by the way. Probably 90% of this quote-unquote recipe is me waiting for it to bake, or cool, or for the other ingredients to set up. That's it. It's gonna be a lot of waiting. So, mostly gonna be gaming on this stream. And then when I'm done with the stream, I'm gonna cut it up and put it on YouTube in chunks, so you're gonna see the cake baking and then maybe the game parts separately. I'm just gonna do a variety of games until the cake is done. So I would like to finish Vampire Therapist. Never finished it. Would like to finish it. Maybe not the first thing I do. I've also got a couple more weird games queued up, which should be fun. I think we're gonna start with a weird game. We'll see if we want to continue to play weird games or if we want to move on to something else. I'll kind of judge the pulse of the chat. Let's get that intro music out of the way. So first up, let me remind you what we're making. I looked up a walkthrough to get a picture of the cake. This is the cake. It's the cake, the video game, mouthwashing. I don't have whipped cream. I have frosting. I have white frosting. And we're going to do a little extra. So here's my thought, okay? In this recipe, if you look at the actual... Or you played the video game Mouthwashing, if you watch me play it, or if you watch any other VTuber play it, a lot of VTubers have played... This cake only has 3 ingredients. That is correct. Only 3 ingredients in the cake. Water, part of which will be played by water. Gelatin, part of which will be played by Jello. And sweetener, the part of which will be played by cake mix, because I gotta actually make a cake. Okay, so there's gonna be cake mix. That's it. It's cake mix is what we're using. But I feel as if I didn't make the cake from like a box mix, it would be missing something. I feel like the cake needs to be made from a box mix in order to really like accurately portray the cake in the video game. Now I am going to cheat a little bit and follow the instructions for the mix, which also includes adding oil and eggs. So technically I'm not making the completely accurate cake, but we'll get the camera on here. So here's the plan. The part of sweetener is going to be played by Duncan Hines Perfectly Moist Classic White Cake Mix. The part of gelatin will be played by gelatin, aka family-sized strawberry jello. And then the part of water will be played by water, which I have here in a cup. Now, I am cheating a little bit because the cake mix also calls for 3 large egg whites and a half cup of vegetable oil. We're going to put those in the cake. We're going to follow the instructions precisely and make the actual cake. I have prepped 3 cake tins to dump the cake mixture into. So we're going to bake all of those at once. But the plan is, instead of doing the layers, because if you look at the layers on the cake, you can see that they're red. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use Jello in between the layers. So I'm going to make essentially like a Jello poke cake, but with a float layer of Jello on top. Okay, so it's gonna make that nice red color. It's not just pink; it's like more red. It's gonna be strawberry, and then we're gonna do a little pink frosting on top to like finish it. Right? That's the plan, anyway. I'm hoping that comes together really good, and like this kind of ragged outside should be like a side effect of just dumping Jello on a cake while it's still slightly wet. I think it'll do that automatically. That is my thought. That's my plan. Now, I don't know because I have made poke cakes before, and usually what happens, the Jello sinks all the way into the cake, so you don't get this layer on top. So what I'm going to try to do is float it on top of the cake layers, which means it's going to have to set in the fridge for like maybe 2.5 or 3 hours, which is a lot, which means this stream is going to be mostly waiting for the cake to do stuff. But that was my plan all along. It's going to be very low key. And because I'm using a box mix, again, this is moist white cake mix, it'll be really easy to do the actual cake making part. So all I got to do is mix it up. Now, I'm probably going to turn the volume down when I start mixing because the mixer is going to be loud. But it won't take me very long because you really have to beat it for 2 minutes. The oven is already preheated, and I've already prepped my pans with some parchment paper in the bottom so the cake should pop out easily. So, because it just says spray with Pam, but honestly, I feel like if you don't put parchment in the bottom, the cake gets stuck at the bottom sometimes. So we're going to use parchment in case that pops out easy. Okay? Plus, we're going to put Jello on top of the cake, which means I'm going to be getting up from my seat to put the cake in the oven. I'm going to be getting up from my seat to mix boiling water to mix with the Jello. Then I'm going to be getting up from my seat to like retrieve the cake and stack it. Get ready to build the cake. So the stream is going to take like maybe 5 hours. I wanted to start earlier, but I got distracted by Travis Battle watching the baby. I'll cop to that. And dinner. Then I had to eat dinner because you can't just have cake, right? You have to eat. Oh, by the way, it also says in here, do not eat raw batter. So yeah, this is the best I can do with the ingredients. I do have to add a few extra ingredients to make it come together as cake, but I did want to make like, you know me, you guys. Like normally, I would make stuff from scratch because I'm very fussy and very particular and very fancy. But in this case, I thought it made the most sense to do it from mixes and Jello because it's kind of like supposed to be like a crappy, right? So it's kind of supposed to be kind of crappy. So that was why I didn't like make my own. Like we're using the Duncan Hines, okay? This is gonna take the place of the sweetener from the. And I'm opening the bag now, so if you hear like noise, I need a knife. Got the bag open. In a very horror gamey sort of way, with a small knife. I don't want to make a mess and dump it all over my desk because that would be the most horrible thing you could possibly do. So I'm being very cautious about opening the bag. Because I could just see the horror now of me like dumping this cake mix all over. It is toenail clippers, yes. Well, it's the knife on the toenail clippers, but yes. Don't worry, it didn't touch the cake. We're not getting any toenail essence in the cake. There's a little trimmer on there. Ariada's promised me I'm getting a real knife. Like a weird one. Alright, so that's the cake mix. I didn't dump it all over my desk. One potential crisis was averted. Alright, next. As per... No, we're eating it. As per the instructions, water. That's in the game. But now I have to add. Now I have to actually add. You're putting Jello toenail essence is basically gelatin if you think about it. You know what? You're right. That's just horse toenails. Right? That's just horse toenails. Guys, the toenail clipper did not make contact with the... It was purely... Okay, now here's the most challenging part of the entire thing, which is I have to separate the eggs. I have to separate the eggs. Because it's supposed to be egg whites only. Listen, if a bit of yolk gets in, it's not a big deal though, because this is not like a meringue. This is just like a basic cake mix. The only reason it's whites only is because you're trying to preserve the white color of the cake. And if you look at the actual cake from the game, which I will now put up on cam again, it's not pure white. So if a little bit of egg yolk gets in there, it's not a big deal. But that does feel like white cake to me. It's not yellow cake. So we're going to try and get it as white as we can, okay? Cake racism here. 1 egg white. Yolk will make it cakier. Yeah. Yolk in there. Fine. These are the last of my farm market eggs. So that's probably a little bit like not very outer space of me, but these came from the market. It's not very outer space of me, I admit. Ooh, I had a nice big white. That's a good one. We will reserve the yolks for another use. That's the last one. You guys are watching some egg separation action. This is why you watch streams. Egg separation. Alright, there we go. Let me just grab a towel here and wipe off my hands. I have that handy. And then we will... Imagine Hachima trying to separate an egg. Yeah, no, that would never happen. Hachima could not separate an egg on stream. You're not going to see that kind of action from Hachima. That's a Countess Lita skill. Imagine an egg. Yeah, she would probably get all the whites. She'd probably get all the bits of shell in there. All right, so we're going to give it a little preliminary mix. And then we're going to hit it with the mixer for 2 minutes. I am going to mute the mic because the mixer will be very loud. Goodbye, eggshells. Nice and tidy. Okay, we're going to hit mute. You want that? You want that lousy mixer? You like the feeling of the mixer in your ears, guys? You don't want me to mute? No mute? Okay, okay. You want the mixer torture. All right, 2 minutes. 2 minutes on the mixer. Get all those side corners in there. Mixing that up. And scrape down the sides a little bit and keep mixing. Sorry if my model does weird things while I'm doing this. It's arranging between me and the camera and the cake mix. That is looking beautiful. You're a Loud Pigs enjoyer on Scrubstream? That's true. This is not Loud Pigs, this is just the mixer. This shit ain't nothing to me, man. Shit ain't nothing to me, man. Now I'm gonna go AFK. Pop it in the oven! In another minute. We gotta mix it, blend it up 2 minutes. 2 minutes with the mixer. We got 1 more minute to go. I could turn on the really bad webcam mic and really give you the true experience. Be sure to scrape on the sides? Yeah, we will. I'll get it scraped. It's hard to do it from this angle on the camera, so. Let's get that. Don't tease you with more. Loud Pigs really is terrible though. See, the problem is I do not want to get cake on the camera, which is entirely possible, so. Add like 1 more hit with the side scrape. We do not want to get cake on the camera, okay? Cake batter on the camera. Woo! Okay. The cake backseating. Oh, you guys are backseating the cake. No, don't worry about it. We got this. All right. Now what I'm going to do is pour that into the prepared pans, which I am going to stand up to do so that I don't make a huge mess. So pardon me for a second. Backseating a cake means something else. Toxic cake backseating. Can't believe you guys would backseat the cooking stream. I literally just dripped cake mix on myself. Oh well, it was going to happen. Bye. It was just a drop from the batter. I'm just trying to get these out without dripping on myself. Successfully. Just one drop though. Okay. It could have been way messier. All right. Oh. Dripped. That's it with the mixer though. That's all I gotta do. No more mixer. And then I actually have 3 prepared pans because it is a triple layer cake. But I'm just gonna pour one on stream and then I'm gonna put them pop them all in the oven. So hopefully we have enough cake batter for 3 layers, but I think we do because the stuff tends to spread. Guys, we're gonna put the theme song back on. I'll be right back. Like I said, the stream's gonna be a lot of waiting, but that's okay. Because now that I'm back, we have 25 minutes to wait for it to bake, meaning we can do other stuff while we wait. 25 minutes isn't a super long time, so I'll have to get up and take it out of the oven in between whatever else I'm doing. And then it's gotta cool for like, I don't know, probably a good 30 minutes at least before I can add the next layer, before I can do any layering. You don't want cake to be hot and try to do anything else with it, so. Now I'm already foreseeing a potential problem, which is I tried to split a box cake into 3 layers, but they're really only good for 2. The layers might be kind of thin. But I figure if I have like one kind of thin layer, I can make that the bottom layer and kind of frosting it up. And then stack the other layers a little bit higher. We'll figure it out, make it work. My goal is just to get this like red, white, stripy pattern with the pink on top. Oh, I even bought some cheap birthday candles, which is funny because like, it's not my birthday, but the shitty layers kind of plays into the bad corporate cake vibe. We are baking. It's in the oven already. I have put it in the oven. So now we just get to wait and vibe and do other stuff.
20 minutes later.
So far, so good, by the way. The cake resembles cake. Looks like cake. So that's good.
More moments later.
This is how I move. So graceful. So elegant. I want the cake. I have to consume the cake. Okay, gang. I'm gonna let you know what this looks like. This is the plan. This is the plan. So I have this cake. I did pour the Jell-O. I don't know if it's like aimed at the camera. It's not aimed at the cake. There it is. Okay. I did pour the Jell-O into the cake, but I don't think it's gonna set like on the bottom like I thought it was. I think it's like just kind of in the cake. So I do think it's gonna be like more permeated throughout as opposed to like a pure white cake. But I also think it might be tasty. My camera's so unfocused. I don't know why it lost focus. Oh, because it's pointed at my keychain. There we go. So that's the cake. It has kind of permeated the sauce throughout. So I don't know if it's going to be the exact right color. But it'll probably be really good. I'll put this in the fridge now. Because it's got to set for like at least 2 hours in the fridge. So Right back for that. I'm back. Get that can on. Let's move it a little bit more to point at the cake instead of my arm. So the cake, this layer is like way more pink than I thought it was going to be. All right, that's my Booba mouse pad. It's one of a kind, by the way. I'm going to eventually get more made so that you guys can buy them too. I'm right on brand for myself. Right? Get that in sensor frame here. So this is one layer, but this layer, it turned out, it looks fine on this camera, but I think it's like very, very pink. And this one, this layer, I think it's more saturated. It's even more pinker than the other layer. I think it has more Jell-O in it. So I think I'm gonna layer these least pink to most pink, maybe? Because it's not quite, I wanted it to be white, but I feel like my camera is terrible because like, I'm gonna crop off the part of it that's just... Oh, that's not right. Why are you doing this to me? I want to crop off the part that's just the floor. There we go. Let's keep focused on the cake. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this out onto this plate that I have ready. It smells really good. But in a, like, cloyingly sweet sort of way, where I think it's going to be extremely sweet. Also, I thought I was clever putting parchment paper down, but apparently the Jell-O made it stick to the bottom of the pan again. So, good for me. Very smart. I had it easily slipping out of the pan. And then I put Jell-O. Is it a springform pan? No, it is not. It's a regular cake pan. Okay. It's still kind of soggy. So that tells me that it probably needs more time to set up. God, it's not coming out of the pan. That's not good. The other one's going to come right out because it still has the parchment in. This one doesn't. I took the parchment out. Oh my god, it's like so red. Tastes good. It's not coming out of the pan at all. It's not coming out of the pan at all. This is bad. Oh, I'm such a good cook, you guys. This is why I always do cooking streams all the time, because I'm so good at them. I'm gonna get it out. It's gonna be a little gooby. Oh! Oh, the red thing worked, though. It's much redder on the bottom. Come out of the pan. I think if I were to do this again, I would put the cake in the freezer before dumping the Jell-O on it. Because what happened is the Jell-O soaked into it too much. But I bet you that if the Jell-O didn't soak into it too much, it would actually be perfect like the game. Also, my theory of it not needing frosting between the layers was correct as well. Because the Jell-O is like so thick and sticky that it's gonna stick the layers together. that layer fell apart. I thought that the parchment paper would save it, but it didn't. It made it worse. Oh, sorry, you can't see it on the camera. It stuck to the parchment paper. Wow, okay. Well, that's not fair. It's like sodden with Jell-O. It's like sodden with it. It's so red. Oh. It's so pink. Okay. One side collapsed a little bit. Just pretend that side didn't collapse. Just pretend that side didn't collapse. How's the cake? It fell apart a little. Probably needed to set up longer. I'm gonna leave it in the fridge overnight before I take pictures. You can't see the collapse. There's no cut. There's no fissure in the cake. It doesn't happen. That's not real. And the top layer is perfection. So it doesn't have any goo, it doesn't have any jello in it. I only put jello in the bottom layers. This is a triple layer cake. Look at that. It's a triple layer cake. All right. Now here's the plan. We've got creamy vanilla frosting. Let me get that on camera. There we go. Creamy vanilla frosting. My boob was in the camera instead of the cake. Here. Cake. Awkward camera positioning. If you're wondering why I'm so low on the screen, it's because I'm sitting way back from the camera because I need to be sitting back from the camera in order to do this portion of the stream. Okay. So now what we're going to do, I'm not going to add, sometimes you can put like additional flavoring like in the frosting, but this is so sodden with flavor that I think it's going to be like way too sweet unless I cut it with some other flavor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this frosting. The first thing I'm going to do is make some pink frosting to put on top because the cake should have pink frosting on top. And then we're going to decorate it. And I'm going to spread some frosting on the sides just a little bit, like a crumb coat. Sodden with flavor. It's like soaked. It's soaked in jello. All right, so my little frosting knife here. Can I just move the one? There we go. Move the camera a little bit. You can see the cake better. Okay, so I've got this, I'm gonna just like coat the sides a little bit. Now, in the game, the sides aren't coated with frosting, but I feel like maybe it'll stick together a little better if I do this. Maybe it'll like the layers will be more discreet. Maybe that's not coming together at all. Actually, no, it's fine. It's fine. I can save it. It's not gonna look like the cake in the game. I'm gonna do some Photoshop to it. My idea was sound. I think I needed to freeze the cake before putting jello on it, though. Because I think that it was a little bit too warm still when I put the jello on it. I think it needed to be, like, rock hard frozen so the jello wouldn't soak in. Yeah, this is not working. I'm so bad at decorating cakes, by the way. Alright. So the next thing I'm gonna do to make it accurate to the game is to put pink frosting on top. Because it needs to have pink frosting on top, or else it's not accurate. This is vanilla frosting, but I do have pink food coloring, so I'm going to try to not make a mess and just mix up some pink food coloring. Or red food coloring, actually. But it's red food coloring, meaning when I mix it up, it'll be pink. Ugh. You gotta be careful not to get red food coloring all over everything because it's very potent. You could get this on yourself and it would be a huge mess. You know, unlike the rest of this operation, which is not a huge mess at all. Alright. I'm gonna throw like a little more white frosting in there because it doesn't have to be that pink. I kinda went crazy with the pink. I always have these great ideas and they never work. One of these days I'm going to cook something on camera that doesn't fall apart. But don't you guys think that the hot chocolate baking is actually kind of good, right? Like if I make something and it's kind of a disaster, it's kind of fun, right? Look at that. From your angle, the cake probably looks fine. I can tell it's kind of a mess on the side, but from your angle, it probably looks fine. I'm gonna paint top of the cake. Pink frosting. Oh, it looks good on camera. It doesn't look good in person. Well, it looks good. It looks like cake. Every time I make like a fun dessert, it is ungodly terrifyingly sweet. And I don't think this is going to be an exception. I think this is going to be ungodly terrifyingly sweet. You know, most of the time my actual cooking is not a disaster. But whenever I try to do like a gimmick cook like this, it turns into a mess. No more cakes, no more pies. Although it is almost Thanksgiving, so make some normal pies. Maybe I'll just pick up a pie from the bakery. You got some good bakeries around here. Alright, so we're frosting the top. I'm frosting the top of it just like the cake from the video game. Oh, no, it's a little messy. Okay. Get it. I need to get the pink color nice and even. Alright, let's get that picture from Mouthwashing back on the screen. Let me see if I've got it close to correct here. I'll tell you, I've got too much frosting on this spoon. Yeah. Now, if it tastes very artificial, it's right because it's supposed to be artificial. But I would like for it to not be, like, disgusting. I would like for it to be good. Because otherwise I'm throwing it in the trash. Okay. How to bake cake. How to bake cake. So this is the picture of the cake in the game. Let's get a look at it again. Looks like that. So yeah, I don't really have like the white layers. I wanted to have like the white layers, but I got pink frosting on top, so we're there. And then I gotta do the white decorations, right? So here's what we're gonna do. I have a piping bag. I know this sounds crazy, but I actually owned like actual cake decorating stuff because, you know, at one point I thought I was gonna be better at decorating cakes than I obviously am. But it's okay. It's fine. I do have the stuff to decorate the globby frosting. Where's that heavy bag? I had it ready. Okay, the combination of the frosting and the Jell-O kind of tastes good, though. Like, it's kind of good. Kind of tasty. But it is going to be very, very cloyingly sweet. What the hell's the piping bag? Oh my god, you guys. What do I do with it? It was like way behind me. So now we're gonna just scoop. You hear the sound of plastic. We're gonna just scoop this. I know. We're gonna scoop the rest of this vanilla frosting into this piping bag. I still have to make those gingerbread cupcakes that I was gonna make too. Thought about making them for Thanksgiving, but maybe I'll make them for friend hangout or something. I had a plan to make gingerbread cupcakes and then I just forgot. But that sounds like a nice thing to make for like the Christmas season, right? I'm sure they won't be as messy as this, because they'll just be cupcakes. And I'm not going to do anything fancy with the frosting. I'm just going to put regular frosting on them. Uh-oh. Oh, I have to snip the tip off the... Okay. So, piping bag. Let's get that camera back on again. Piping bag. I actually have one. I'm gonna pipe these little, like, corners on the cake. Is your cake dense enough to require sawing through it? It's the opposite. It's like, it's so moist that I think it's gonna fall apart. Honestly, I got the biggest tip I had, and it's still not as big as the ones in the game. But oh well. Got the like border of squiggles on the outside. And then it's gonna need like the big tower in the middle. Right? Can't believe I'm gonna use this entire thing of frosting. That's kind of crazy. I thought I'd have some left over, but nope. This cake's gonna be frosted as hell. And I didn't even frost the intermediate layers because it's Jello instead in between. Which was a good idea in theory, but I probably needed to freeze the cake first. Because this didn't like set up the way I wanted it to. But what I'm gonna do is put it in the fridge overnight. And then it'll be set up by morning. And I'll take some pictures of it after it's set up. You guys can see what it looks like final. Because anytime I make one of these complicated baking things, it really needs overnight to set up. Alright, and then the way it is in the game, there's like some mess on here, but the way it is in the game is there's like there's like little bits around the bottom as well. Well, let's get the top. So we're just gonna squeeze like big dollops of frosting on the top. I'm kind of like not able to see from this angle. It's so asymmetrical. It's fine. It's totally fine. You gotta go? Thank you for the gift subs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a good night. This is almost done. This is almost done. All I gotta do is put the last bits of frosting on it. And then I'm gonna put it in the fridge. And then we're gonna see how it looks with the candles. And then we're gonna cut it open. Not tonight, tomorrow. There's no way I'm gonna eat it tonight. It's not set up enough. It's gonna go in the fridge overnight. But hey, it kind of looks like the cake in the game. From this angle, at least. I'm kind of impressed with it. It looks pretty good from this angle. From the side, maybe not so much, because I kind of lost my white layers. But I think I can fix it. Yeah, good for me. I made a cake. It's gonna be like... It's gonna taste like strawberry jello. And white frosting at the same time. It's gonna be like the most sweetest cake you ever ate. I think this recipe has potential. But in a like Midwest white person sort of way, right? Like, it's not fancy. It's cake mix and jello. So in the game, they've got like white around the outside like this. Around the bottom. You resemble that remark? Midwest white person food? Yeah, me too. Oh, it smells so good. It's hard to explain because it just smells like red jello, but we're moving around the outside now. Getting the white frosting on the outside. Every time I do one of these, I'm like, this is going to be such a cool project, and then it turns into a huge mess. When will I ever learn? Never. I will never. That's one of my rules. I will never learn. I will never improve. It's only a little bit collapsing. This side is like weird for some reason. It's only a little bit collapsing, guys. That's it! That's the pink frosted cake. How's it look? Is it a cake? It's a cake. Yeah, it's an actual cake. It's a cake. It's made from cake. It's a real cake. I made it with cake mix and jello. Because there's jello in the mouthwashing cake, so there's jello in this cake. And I thought that the jello would behave differently than it behaved. But I think if I put it in the fridge overnight, it's gonna set up better. And then I'll take some pictures of it. And what I think I'm going to do is cut like around the edge a little bit to like make it even, because right now it's not very even around the edge. Not that you could tell from this angle, but it's definitely not even around the edges. It's either going to have the best or worst texture. The problem is it's going to be extremely sweet. So like, have you ever had a Jell-O poke cake? It's the same concept as a Jell-O poke cake. So it's a normal way to make a cake. It's just that it's really, really sodden, because I thought that the Jell-O was like gonna sit on top a little bit, but it sort of sat on the bottom, but it soaked all the way through it, which is more red than I wanted it to be. But I do think that that's cool for like the inside of the cake. If you see the inside of the cake in the game, it is red. But I do think that it probably will be a little bit too sweet, which is always what happens when I make these like gimmick desserts. I always make them way too sweet. But yeah, it's a 3-layer cake. And it's messy. It doesn't look good, but that's okay. So that's it. This is my version of the cake from last year's indie horror title, Mouthwashing. And what does it look like on the inside? Not bad. What did it taste like? Actually, pretty darn good. So if you want to make a Jell-O cake like this yourself, I'd actually recommend it. Just be careful to eat the cake and not your friends.